Hi, welcome to the Market Alert for Friday the 8th of April 2016. And starting off with yesterday's activity, we see the market moving lower as Draghi spoke. This signal is not valid, as this was just prior to the release of Draghi's statement. We see the market moving lower for the next hour. We then have two buy signals, a 36-point loss followed by a 26-point loss as the market failed to make any progress to the upside. Third time lucky, we see the market give us 20 points. There's not as much in this one as it actually looks, because the market went up and traded to the scalp level there to give the reverse signal here, which is just at the 20-point scalp there, unless of course you took the money off the table as the market traded up to the 17,600 on this particular one. I was hoping the market, having driven through the scalp there, the 20-point scalp, let me just remove that sell one for a minute, having moved through that, we could then start trailing, but the trail of course at 50% is exactly the same as the 50% to go short, which we see there. The market then moves lower. We drive through this time and head all the way down to the lows. We go down to 17,500, and as the market moves lower, you'll see down to this level we have 89 points to make up the loss, plus the 20 we made on the previous trade. And had you have trailed using a 50% retracement, then the market would have taken you out at the 17,521 level there. And just to give you the ballpark on this one, depending on which strategy you actually chose, it would be around 67 points as well to make up the loss, and a few more points as well from the first part of the session. Now the volatility started to increase. I was getting rather concerned yesterday afternoon. I thought this is becoming rather worrying, because if you're new to trading and you've not actually gone through a period of low volatility like we're experienced the last 2 weeks, it can be quite demoralizing, and that I understand from 20 odd years of actually trading. But the volatility picked up in the latter part of the quiet session and then into the evening session as well, and this is what we want to actually see come back into the market. I was going to suggest this morning you either ratchet down the point values so that it's comfortable to trade until the volatility kicks up, or stand aside, but the volatility has actually moved higher, and we'll look at this in just a moment. So in the evening, Yellen came out and spoke. The market, so you can see the reaction there. It wasn't too much. The market then came back and now is trying to move higher, and the reason it's moving higher is because of our old friend crude oil there moving higher in the overnight market. So that's why the stock market's up on the overnight. But I think things are about to change, and there are a number of reasons for that, but I'll come to that in just a moment. In the daily chart, let me just reload this. That's not loaded properly there. So in the daily chart, we can see the market reversing there. It's struggled all week. It's rounding over. Prices are heading towards the downside there. News, let's have a look, see if we've got any. We've got Dudley speaking at 1:30 p.m. today. That's classed as a medium impact, which is unusual because he's quite high up in the hierarchy of the Fed. Again, we'll see what he has to say. We've had also another central banker out. And this is something I was talking to a friend about yesterday, who's also traded for 20 odd years. And the market now is just driven by central bankers' statements. That's the only time, or in the last few weeks, we've had any volatility. As you could see yesterday when Draghi spoke, and then later on in the evening when Yellen spoke. That's the only time you're getting any sort of volatility. So it comes to something when the stock market, which should be a reflection of the corporations within those indices, their profitability, etc., should be reflected in the stock market, is no longer valid. It is discarded. It's just a central bank Ponzi scheme to keep the illusion alive that everything is fine in the economy. And speaking of which, the reason the volatility is starting to come back is Deutsche Bank, and I recorded a video about this and the relationship or the parallel to Barclays Bank as well. And this, from that video, the market managed to rally up to 18.53, that's euros, and now down to 13.75, 13.23. It will be interesting to see what happens today. Deutsche Bank has a major problem. It is sitting on 70 trillion of derivatives, and if they renege on any of those positions, then we're going to see all sorts of problems. So Deutsche Bank is crashing again as European banks slide. Also RBS as well. You'll see there Credit Suisse. So this could be the catalyst now to start seeing the volatility increase and prices move to the downside as well. There was also European banks crash, most in 4 years, as default risk spikes to pre-Draghi levels as well. So again, this is all starting to come out in the background. You won't see this in the mainstream yet, but it's already being reported in the background. And again, if you have a look at the Deutsche Bank stock, you can see that we're now back down to where the market was rescued, and we saw the rally in the stock market during February. Just remove that. That coincides with this bounce here, and now the market is ahead, or Deutsche Bank is ahead of the market, coming off there, moving sharply to the downside there. And then finally in the implied volatility, 13.74 up from 12.32, big move up in this. And again, now we're starting to see things come to life, which is good news for us, because the volatility has been too low, which is why we've had the frustration of the last week and a half of the market filling the trade but not really making any progress, or if it has, it's been slow. Otherwise, just to sit and watch it come back. But I've covered that already now. So fortunately, things are picking up as opposed to having to stand aside, which is good news. Right, that's it from me. I will be seeing you in Monday's market alert, unless there's anything to report in between, unless there's any announcements from Deutsche Bank or it falls out of bed completely. But other than that, have a great weekend, and I will speak to you on Monday. Thanks for watching. See you in the next